Come on everyone to the Gibson Show. I'm joined today by a special guest, the one and only Caneo from Wylde. Caneo, you've had a pretty good year, haven't you?
Yeah, probably the best year in my life.
Yeah. So basically, for anyone joining us today, this is a little interview we're going to do with all the teams ahead of the upcoming Challenger League season. And Caneo, I think I spoke to a couple of players in and around the team, and at the start of the year, everyone on the team almost said it was a foregone conclusion you were going to make CL. There was no doubt in the team's mind whatsoever. I suppose the big thing was whether or not you would be starting for the side. You've gone ahead, you've got your starting place. How does it feel now to know that you're about to play in a T2 event?
It feels very exciting because I remember last year watching the CL and being actually a bit upset I can't watch Wylde because it was like the German roster in CL. And they weren't streamed a lot, so I couldn't watch it. I think they were streamed once, but yeah. And then I also watched all the other games, like from M&M, and I was just excited to like see, oh wow, playing on such a big stage. And yeah, also then seeing that they're being casted by the official EUL desk and stuff. I was just very excited to play CL, but we weren't qualified yet, but I knew we will qualify. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's looking to be a very good event, and if you speak to people in and around the scene about who everybody thinks are the best teams in CL right now, the names that people that keep saying is Wylde, 10-star, Vipero 86 is another name that comes up a little bit. So, is there any pressure on the team going in, knowing that a lot of people see you guys as the favourites, or do you think the experience that you got playing in Gamers 8, playing against Tier 1 teams, the best teams in the world, kind of ease those nerves for you?
No, I don't think we have really a lot of pressure. The only big goal I really have as for our team is to reach playoffs, and when we reach playoffs, anything can happen. But then the best of three start, and we will get better because we are good in best of threes. As you have already seen, like we have never seen some teams playing in a best of three, in a proper best of three against a team which is prepared against them. So it will be exciting to see how those teams will perform.
I think one of the craziest best of threes I ever casted was your best of three against Jay Lings in the first set of open quals, where I think the best of three was over in about an hour and a half. The games were going that quickly, but it wasn't even as if it was one-sided. The games were going to overtime. It was just bang, bang, bang with the rounds. Do you think there'll be teams that have looked at your performance in best of threes and be worried about playing Wylde when they get there?
I'm pretty sure some teams are worried to play against us, but they're not going to tell us or say it that they're afraid of playing us, because we're at the end of the day, we're a random team. Like people will never know what we do. Are we going to do a slow attack and a fast attack? No one knows. Yeah. And this is probably the scariest thing about Wylde.
And are there any teams or players in CL that you really want to play against? You know, we're not going to talk about teams you're worried about, just teams you personally want to play a game as. I know you've got a good relationship with a lot of the guys in 10-star. You know, maybe you want to try your hand against Goga. You know, Goga's a pretty good player. Done a lot of good things in the past. Who is it you're looking to go up against?
So the most excited about are probably like Victus and 10-star, because I'm very good friends with all of them. And this would just be funny to finally play them, because I've never actually played them. Every time Wylde played against them, I was not playing. Yeah. But we beat both of them, but without me. So, yeah. Those are the two main teams. And then I also really want to play against Coalesce.
Yeah, Coalesce, I think everyone was kind of worried about whether or not they were going to make it, because obviously they finished outside the points, but then the Hellraisers and the ex-heroic spots went up the grabs. So I think it'll add something different with them and Les Pachichi, or Les Pachichi, whatever whatever we were supposed to say it is going to be in. But I think for you, it's another opportunity to show what you can do, because I think if people didn't know your name at the start of the year, they will have watched your clip against Team Liquid with the SMG-12. Yeah. I'm pretty sure for you, you definitely want to add more moments like that to the career, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. And I also just want to show that I wasn't the one trick in Saudi. That like in Saudi I had two good best of threes and one was mid, and then in GSA finals I played good in my opinion, and now I just want to show that I am consistently good, and that it's not like it was just a one-time thing.
And now that we're talking about the G8 event, let's talk about it a little bit more. So Wylde went into that event again, kind of the underdogs. You guys and the Falcons, nobody really, a lot of the tier 1 teams didn't really know much about you because they wouldn't have watched much GSA. And then obviously Falcons were a complete, nobody knew at all what to expect from them. How did it feel going up against the likes of Team Liquid, SSG? Was it a bit of a surreal experience?
It was the whole event was a surreal experience. Like getting there, you arrive at Saudi, and then the pilot says, "Yeah, guys, the temperature went down from 41 degrees to 38 only, so it's gonna be a cool night." And then you're like, "Wait, what?" And not just the whole event, the hotel, the whole event was just like on another planet.
Yeah.
And then also playing the teams. At the beginning, I was a bit nervous, but then when we were like 3-0 up against Liquid, I was like, "Why, Team Alpha play better Skyscraper than them." And then, yeah.
Yeah, Whippet was watching that game, and he's a massive fan of Nesk and Liquid. So for him, I think he was like, "Wow, this Wylde team really have something to show." A little bit of disappointment then at the end, though. I suppose if you were to choose any team to lose to an event like that, you wouldn't mind losing to the home team. But really looking back at that, was that a missed opportunity to make the final of an S-tier event?
Yeah, it was. We should have won the game because it was just one. It was one mistake we did. Mm-hmm. We had a tactical timeout. It was 6-5 for us in Villa. We were on match point, and we had a tactical timeout on it. And we exactly knew what to do because we knew what the setup was going to be. And then it was someone called a rush. I don't remember someone called a rush, and it was just the wrong decision because we knew how to clear it and how we would perfectly clear it against them. And then it was just this call which basically lost us the game.
Yeah, but I think these things happen. You'll probably learn more from that than you would have learned had you made it to the finals. So I suppose at that moment then, after you got the shout out from Usain Bolt and you had the poll on Twitter where you got yourself a nice little bit of money for play of the tournament, was that the point then when maybe your family and friends kind of started to realize, there's definitely a career in esports for you? Because obviously being young, your parents probably thinking, esports, is there a future in it? Can you get a career in it? What are their kind of thoughts after that event?
Yeah, basically my parents were like, I finished my apprenticeship in March this year and as an IT specialist. And then my parents were like, "Yeah, go on," and they gave me 1 year time to just test something. Or as I had to pay rent at home, and then they didn't mind it. And then after Saudi, they asked me like, "What do you now win?" and stuff, and I told them the prize, and they weren't believing it.
Yeah, it's something good. You think you're in a position now. You've got a very strong org behind you. I think a lot of people are starting to take notice of the things that Wylde have done. They've got the partnership with Virgin Media now. There's a lot of rumors going on of bigger and better things to come from Wylde. As a roster, though, you've got a pretty good core of players around. You've played with Aces quite a bit. You've played with Corey, both of them tier 1 experience. Corey in particular, what's it been like playing with him, and have you learned much from him?
Yeah, like Corey is probably one of the best teammates you can have as a T3 or inexperienced player. Because he gives you that experience, he gives you those tips outside of the game, like how to act with people or how to interact with teammates. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans. Everyone does mistakes. And he teaches you that very well and also leads you to being a good player and just to reach your goals, which you have.
And yeah, what goals do you have personally then, kind of for the next 12 months? Where do you want to be as a player, say this time next year?
This time next year, I want to be in EU League, and the happiest with Wylde, if this is possible. Through relegations, not, I don't know, maybe some other ways. And then also I would wish to have a 10 at SI with good chances, and at the major, because they announced in the latest blog post, that the winners of CL will get like some close qualifier advantage or stuff like that. So maybe when we win CL or get in the final, we will get a close qualifier to a major and then make a major.
Well, here's the thing. You have that experience of playing at a big S-tier LAN already. So SI quals will probably start again, start of the year. And then if you get that head start as well for the major, if that's what the post means too, there's a very good chance that if you keep doing the right things, there's no reason why you can't emulate. You spoke about Eminem. You said them last year. Look at the run they went. Be pretty cool to see Wylde do the same.
Yeah.
So
And yeah, no, that's it.
yeah. So then let's have a bit of fun with it now then. Last few minutes of the interview, we'll talk a little bit about the other teams in CL again, bring it back to that side of it. If there's a player in CL that you really want to get a one-up on, you know, one individual you want to kill, you want to beat his team, is there anyone out there that, not necessarily a grudge match, but just you'd love to have bragging rights over?
I would love to win against Azur
Yeah.
from 10 star. Yeah.
Is it because of Azur, or is it because the fact that I know you're pretty good friends with Kenny and you're pretty good friends with Zeno and them too?
It's most of the time because of Azur, because
Yeah.
I play a lot of ranked with him, and I always do some jokes around like we beat Tensor and stuff, and he says, yeah, but you weren't on the lineup, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know.
Well, we'll definitely
So-
turn back on that one then. So
Yeah.
finally then, power rankings at the end of the season of CL, who do you think the 4 teams are that end up in the final and semi-final?
Probably going to be 10 star, us, Victus. Victus have looked strong at the NPO finals, but they didn't have SkyT, and now they have SkyT again. So I think that's a big upgrade. And the last team, I really don't know. I would say like 86, but 86 lost their 2 best entries. So, and I would not say Ascent because they lost Efak and now added Enemy and Dravan to it. So I don't know how they are really going to perform. I would probably go for a wild card like Rebels.
Yeah, Rebels, they went a whole season without losing a game, so they don't quite
Yeah.
know what that feels like just yet. So I suppose it'd be nice to give them that feeling as well. You know, we'll hopefully get a talk with them at some point. But Caneo, thanks so much for taking the time to join me. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you again. You know, last time we spoke, it was at the Gamers 8 event, so it's cool to see you. So, like I say, best of luck in CL to you and Wylde, and hopefully we'll be talking again soon.
Yeah, hopefully we talk again soon.